Donald Trump has always been a fake tough guy. He has no courage, he has no conviction, and he is always willing to bend the knee to anyone who so much as bats their eyelashes at him. Vladimir Putin, for example. But Donald Trump's fake tough guy act really fails when he is in cognitive decline, when he is completely imploding in front of us, and when his brain, which was already not operating at tip-top shape, melts into the pudding sludge that it is. And that is exactly what we saw today in front of Donald Trump's billionaire buddies, where Melania had to save him in an episode of Cognitive Decline that we're going to get into. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button, because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we can get into the moment that Melania had to jump in and try to save Trump as his cognitive decline was on full display, I'm going to start with a question from a reporter that kicked this all off on the health side of things, a question for Trump about RFK Jr.
We're denying people vaccines. Do you have full confidence in what RFK Jr. is doing?
Well, I didn't get to watch the hearings today, but he's a very good person. And he means very well, and he's got some little different ideas. I guarantee a lot of the people at this table like RFK Jr., and I do. But he's got a different take, and we want to listen to all of those takes. But I heard he did very well today. But it's not your standard. It's not your standard talk, I would say, and that has to do with medical and vaccines. But if you look at what's going on in the world with health, and look at this country also with regard to health, I like the fact that he's different.
Now, I'm a little surprised that Trump didn't give the full-throated endorsement of RFK Jr. there. He kind of tiptoed around it, but after that performance in the Senate, it is fairly understandable why. But these are just two grifters. It is a blatant grift. Donald Trump wants to talk about RFK Jr. doing something different in the same way that Trump likes to say that he's outside of the system, that he's not an elite. But this is a two-term billionaire president of the United States. What do you mean you're not an elite? What do you mean you're not in the system? Just because you have reworked and broken the system to dump billions of dollars into your crypto fund doesn't mean that you're outside of it. And just because RFK Jr. says that he's against the corporate players in pharma doesn't mean that he's also not profiting millions of dollars selling you pseudoscience to make you sick and give your kids measles. Which is why, before we get into Donald Trump's very own health problem, John Ossoff called out RFK Jr. for the ones he's creating.
The destruction of the CDC in Georgia, the systematic dismantling of American public health is putting children and families across the country at risk every single day. This is chaos. It is out of control. And every day this continues, more and more Americans are put at risk by Mr. Kennedy's radical and incoherent ideology. I defend the CDC not just because those who work there are my constituents, but because it is the most important disease-fighting agency not just in the country, but in the world, with unmatched capabilities and responsibility. And the CDC has been systematically demolished since Mr. Kennedy was sworn in. Agency morale is at rock bottom. A quarter of the workforce has been pushed out. It is an agency known for its tenacity and precision and capacity that is now totally in chaos by design. And every day this continues, the damage is compounded. It is time for Mr. Kennedy to resign.
Of course, RFK Jr. should be fired. This administration is really just one big grift. That is what they are all after. How do we make as much money as possible? And Donald Trump, for that very reason, surrounded himself with people who aren't capable, who aren't good at their job, or certainly interested in doing the work. No, Donald Trump surrounded himself in his administration with people who can go on Fox News and lie for him. Now, I know RFK Jr.'s voice isn't very pleasant, but he does, with a lot of conviction, spout out random numbers that make him seem to an uneducated person like he knows what he's talking about. But of course he doesn't, and neither does Donald Trump, especially when he can't get the words out or hear the words in a question from a reporter, which is why Melania had to save him.
Incredible. Right now it's a lot of construction numbers, but you're going to see job numbers like our country has never seen before. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have two questions for you. First, after your phone call with Ukrainian President Zelensky today, do you plan to speak with Russia's President Putin in the near future?
What?
If you will speak with President Putin.
Now, is that really a picture of strength? Feeble Donald Trump, unable to hear a question repeated to him, not once, not twice, but thrice times. And now Melania has to lean over. Oh, Donald, won't you just die already? It's probably what she's thinking. Won't you just please? I'm just so tired of you. But this is what they said about Putin. And of course, it's a question about Putin. Trump looking weak, and it's a question about Putin that I don't even want to hear the answer to because I know what it is. Well, Lad loves me. He thinks I'm a great guy and I should get the Nobel Peace Prize because that's all I care about at this point. That's what the answer would be. I also have to point out that Donald Trump and Melania are sitting next to Bill Gates. Really? This is the guy that MAGA, for decades now, has been saying is putting chips in our brains and in the water and wants to steal the sun, or I don't even know whatever conspiracy they come up with. All of the people that they purport to hate the most are sitting at dinner in their black suits with Donald Trump. Are you serious? These people do not care about you. They mock you. In fact, they think you're stupid, and it's why. Well, they think you're stupid if you're a MAGA voter. If you see through their stupidity, they're just angry at you. But it's why Donald Trump feels so comfortable saying nonsense like this about jobs numbers.
Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Tomorrow we have a jobs report coming out, the first since the BLS commissioner who you fired won't be there. A lot of people will be turning to you to see if you believe the data that's released. Can you commit to saying the data will be credible?
The number, I don't know, they come out tomorrow, but the real numbers that I'm talking about are going to be whatever it is, but will be in a year from now when these monstrous, huge, beautiful places, they're palaces of genius. And when they start opening up, you're seeing, I think you'll see job numbers that are going to be absolutely.
If he likes the numbers are real. If the numbers disagree with Donald Trump, the numbers are fake. This is just the classic playbook. This is what we can expect. This is what we do expect. And it's incredibly damaging, not just because our economy is actively imploding right now, but how can we have any trust if we have no trust in the most basic institutions in our government that count? Count. Numbers. There's no opinion here. It is truth. It is fact. And Donald Trump putting it up for dispute, along with all the other conspiracies being pushed by his administration, put us all in tremendous danger. Now, of course, we know that. Of course, Donald Trump knows that. But it's the only thing he can do to try to make himself look tough. Attack the agencies that make him look bad. Attack anyone who makes him look bad. But it's not working like it used to. Donald Trump, as we started this video by saying, is a fake tough guy. But when those in your cult don't fall in line with that act, when the political theater doesn't work because you don't know your lines, yeah, the performance is pretty piss poor. Especially when people like Marjorie Taylor Greene are coming out against you. And Nicole Wallace broke that all down right here.
Do you expect you're going to get a little pushback from the administration for getting involved in this?
Oh, I got a lot of pushback. I got phone call after phone call last night. They didn't want me to sign the discharge petition. They want to focus on the oversight investigation. They hate Thomas Massie more than they can hate any Democrat. Which makes no sense to me. And they don't want to work with Democrats at all.
Hi again, everybody. Yes, it's that point in the Trump administration where we lead with Marge. It's 5:00 in New York. Hey, White House, your panic is showing. Yesterday, Marjorie Taylor Greene, typically a stalwart Donald Trump ally, called out the Trump administration for attacking her over her support for what she just said there, the discharge petition in the House, an effort put forward by Democrat Ro Khanna and Republican Thomas Massie, who she also mentioned, that would force a vote on releasing the full Epstein files. It's just transparency, basically. Apparently, the White House is privately trying to tamp down any support for transparency around the Epstein files, even though that is what an overwhelming majority of Americans, including MAGA voters, want. Publicly, we're hearing Trump's newest tactic to try to make this issue go away, calling the whole thing a, quote, hoax. To watch the survivors and their families of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell's crimes say this.
We are tired of looking at the news and seeing Jeffrey Epstein's name and saying that this is a hoax. We are tired of it. We are done. We're not going to be silenced.
Mr. President Donald J. Trump, I am a registered Republican, not that that matters because this is not political. However, I cordially invite you to the Capitol to meet me in person so you can understand this is not a hoax. We are real human beings. This is real trauma.
This is the leader of our nation. This was no small thing. It wasn't irrelevant. It's not a hoax. There's testimony after testimony. Ghislaine Maxwell was convicted. To hear the leader of their nation say things like that for us, it's gut-wrenching.
Those who have already been through so much trauma yesterday said that if no one else will, they'll name names. The government refuses to do that. Congressman Massey saying this, quote, survivors at our press conference announced that they are privately compiling their own Epstein list. They would be sued into homelessness for naming names, but Marjorie Taylor Greene and I are willing to name names in the House of Representatives under the constitutional speech or debate immunity. What a moment on the House floor that would be. I'd like to see that. As for Republicans signing on to Massey's petition, Marjorie Taylor Greene is one of 3 Republican women backing the effort. She, along with super Trump allies Lauren Boebert and Nancy Mace, who we saw leaving a meeting with Epstein survivors on Tuesday in tears, it looked like, are forming the GOP resistance from within. From reporting in the New York Times, quote, the gender divide within the House GOP on the Epstein case echoes one that emerged earlier this year in the Senate during fraught confirmation hearings for Pete Hegseth, the defense secretary who faced his own accusations of having abused women, all of which he denied. Then, as now, the women were under immense pressure from a vengeful White House to fall in line. In both cases, most of their male colleagues who had previously expressed hints of concern cited what they said were equally compelling reasons not to act on those concerns. Massey and Khanna say they are confident they will get the required 218 votes to pass their petition by the end of the month. That's where we start.
Why Marjorie Taylor Greene breaking with Trump represents something so much bigger to me in MAGA than maybe a Republican being unable to be coerced is because Marjorie Taylor Greene seemingly believes the stuff that she's saying. So if the conspiracies are now out of line with Trump, if he's now out of step with the base of the party, what does that mean? If he can't crazy his way or coerce his way into complete compliance for MAGA, he's really screwed, and the act all starts to fall apart. That is what's happening right now with the Epstein files, and that is why we need to keep the pressure up. We're certainly going to on this show, and if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.